Hi everyone, welcome to our third episode of Slice of Life. My name is Dabney and I'm the Young Adult Librarian at the Twin Lakes Library System. Today I'm going to be talking to you all about green living. As you might know, this past Wednesday was Earth Day, so I figured today is the perfect time to talk about this very important topic. So I know some of y'all are probably living at home, and your family, your guardian might not be willing to help you do some of the things we're talking about today. But you can just tuck this information away, and maybe someday when you're out on your own and you're able to do these things, you can start practicing some green living. But today we're going to be talking about reduce, reuse, and recycle, as well as a little bit about composting, and then I'm going to have some book suggestions at the end if you want to know more. There's going to be a lot of information talked about that I'll link some resources to this video. So if you miss something, just check there. So a little bit about me. I am very passionate about green living and zero waste and just taking care of the environment. When I was growing up, my parents recycled and did various things to reuse products, and all of that was kind of instilled in me at an early age. And then when I went on to college, my roommate and I started a recycling program in our dorm. And then when I got my job at the Twin Lakes Library System, I helped implement a recycling program there. So all about it. Okay, so I'm looking at my notes. Just give me a second. So yeah, I'm going to talk to you guys more about recycling in a minute, but first I want to get started with talking about how you can reduce, which is cutting down on your waste. So I'm going to show you a few things I have around my apartment. So I don't use very many paper products. I don't use paper towels or napkins. Instead, I have cloth napkins. I have cloth hand towels, and I have different kinds of washing rags. So this is one I use a lot. The great thing about all of these is you can use them, then you just wash and dry and keep using them again and again. So that's one way you can reduce your waste. Another way is just to stop using disposable products and do reusable products. So for example, you've got reusable cutlery, little lunch bento box. So I know it's kind of a stretch, but if you had a set of cutlery you could bring with you when you either eat out or I have a friend who just has a set she keeps with her in her bag. And then, if she gets takeaway food at work or whatever, she uses those utensils instead of plastic ones. You can get reusable chopsticks. And this is cool. My cousin made this for me. It is a reusable sandwich bag. So you can put sandwiches, foods in here, and then you can wash this. Reusable, water bottles. That's what these are. I like to put stickers on mine, but stainless steel, aluminum, those are good ones to use. But this is one I got at the Dollar Tree and put lots of Venom stickers on there. This is my go-to coffee mug that I like to use. There's all different kinds of reusable cups that you can take with you. This one I love. I got it at Walmart. So those are just some reusable products that you can use to cut down on waste. I also forgot about my reusable shopping bags. These are great. I use them when I go to the grocery store, when I go camping, when I have to take a bunch of books back to the library. I use them when I've had to move before. They're wonderful. Okay, so now we're going to jump down and talk about reusing things. And one thing you can reuse are plastic containers, but you only want to reuse plastics that are number 2, 4, or 5. And with those, like, you don't want to put them in the microwave. And I'll show you. Here's a couple that I have. So these are ones like my mom had gotten barbecue, and then she just reuses the containers, like they're number 5 plastic, number 4 plastic, and then sometimes she gives me leftovers in these, and then I just keep them, and I have a stash of these, little stash of these. Like I said, you don't want to use like number 1 plastics. That's what these are. I didn't realize that until I was kind of cleaning out my cupboard to do this episode, and I was like, oh, I should not be using these, so I'm going to recycle these. And let's see. I also have a link in the video to some like guidelines on like what kind of plastic you can reuse and things you want to look out for. And then I am like super extra, so I don't buy trash bags. You could use like plastic grocery bags, but those are actually recyclable, so I recycle those, and instead chip bags, like a big chip bag, I use that as like my trash bag. I don't actually produce very much trash, so that works for me. I know that's a little bit extra and probably wouldn't work for anyone, like everyone, but just a little personal suggestion. Paper, like if you're getting to the end of the school year and you're cleaning out, if you have like a lot of worksheets or notes and you don't need them anymore, you can always recycle those. Or if like you have one side that's blank, you can cut those up into squares and use it as like scrap paper to take notes. That's what we do at the library. Shredded paper cannot be recycled, unfortunately. It can be used as compost, or at the library when we've made plushies, we use that shredded paper as stuffing. So that is awesome. It's something you can do. You can Google like ways to reuse shredded paper. There's lots of different suggestions. And let's see. Glass jars. So yeah, these can be reused. I make jam in the summer, so I can put it in here. But jars and like various things, can be upcycled into craft projects. We do lots of craft projects at the library with glass jars. If you go on Pinterest and look up like upcycle craft, you'll find lots of suggestions for, all kinds of things that you might have originally thrown away or recycled that could be upcycled to make something really cool. And another way you can reuse things is if you're cleaning out, your closets or your like room or whatever, things can be, you can have a yard sale. Other people could buy your stuff. You could donate your stuff to like thrift stores. Then there's like drop-off containers around Milledgeville, like in the Kroger parking lot, Walmart parking lot, where you can drop off clothes. I think mostly clothes and shoes into those things. But yeah, that's another way you can pass those things on so other people can reuse them. When you're buying new clothes, or if eventually someday you've got an apartment or whatever and you need to buy stuff for your new place, go to thrift stores, see what they've got secondhand, hit up yard sales. That's a good way to reuse products. And then one thing, I've never done this, but I have friends who do this, and that's clothing swaps. So get together with your friends and say, hey, these are clothes I don't want anymore. They bring their clothes they don't want anymore. You all look through it and then take what you want. Whatever's left over can be donated. And you can do that with more than clothes. Like, I clean out my apartment all the time, and I'm like, okay, here's all this geeky anime stuff that I kind of don't want, and I just find people who do want it. Alright, moving on to recycling. So at the library, we actually have in-house recycling for cans and plastic and cans, plastic, paper, cardboard, plastic bags. There are places in Milledgeville, like City of Milledgeville, Baldwin County, that have recycling facilities where you can drop off things, and I've provided links to this video about that. You can also sell or donate your cans, like aluminum cans, at Buddy's Recycling. That's what we do with all of our cans at the library. We take those to Buddy's, and then they donate those funds to ARF, which is an animal shelter. And yeah, just look up the guidelines to find out like what exactly the local facilities take, because they don't take everything, but they do take a lot. Plastic bags. I thought for a long time that the only plastic bags you could recycle at Kroger and Walmart were like grocery bags, but that's not true. You can recycle food packaging like Ziploc bags, bread bags, plastic liners from cereal boxes, produce bags, dry cleaning bags, plastic newspaper wrapping, product wrapping like the covers that come around a pack of water bottles, bubble wrap and air pillows as long as you like puncture those and get the air out, shipping envelopes as long as you remove labels. So remember, just recycle the plastic bags. If there's trash in there, take that out, throw it away. Ink cartridges, if you happen to have any of those, Office Max takes those. And then I also provided some links to Office Depot and Best Buy, which do have recycling programs for recycling like old tech. And last of all, just a thing to consider when you're shopping and you're buying like usually food stuff or toiletries, think about, can the packaging be recycled? That's one way we can cut down on waste, is buying things that have recyclable packaging. All right. So we're gonna take a field trip really quick. We'll see how this goes. We're gonna go check out my compost bin, and I'm gonna take my container of compost stuff to put in there and show you guys. So let's see. We're also gonna look at my little outdoor garden that I've got going on, and I'm gonna have a link. This is my indoor garden. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, this is so weird, but yeah. I'm growing some tomatoes and eggplant seeds. This is my succulent, so cute. That's my cat crying. Alright, so bear with me. That's Baz. We're heading downstairs. Yeah, and I have a link in the video that about how to make your own composting bin. Mine is made out of like a big cat litter bin, which I'll show y'all in a second. So some things, like not everything can be composted. Mostly what you're composting is going to be things like, raw fruits and vegetables, coffee grounds, tea leaves. There's like a whole list, and I'm going to have that linked. Like I said, shredded paper, some cardboard. When I lived at home, my parents kind of have, not an official like compost area, but they have a place in the woods where they take those things like from their kitchen, from the yard, and it goes like out in the woods and it kind of breaks down over time. So that's one option. But for me, like, I live in an apartment, so I have like an outdoor composting bin. Oh, there's a lizard. Okay. Again, this is so strange doing this way on a computer. But these are my composting bins. And I'm going to open it up and show you guys. There's some things sprouting. And yeah. If I was going to turn that soil for you, you would see there's lots of worms in here. Because it's outdoors and there's like holes drilled into the bottom, the worms just kind of come up through there and do their wormy thing, break down all the food stuff. Oh, another thing you can compost are like eggshells. Those are really good. And then I'm going to show you like my little plants over here. a tomato plant. I have, I don't know if you can see that, those guys, squash plants. But yeah, so that's a little bit about composting. You can read more about it. And then also talking about some book resources. This is one that I referenced as I was planning this program, Green Tea Living. There's a lot of things in here about, sustainable living and having a green lifestyle. So it's on Hoopla as an ebook, so you should check it out. I also have a link in the video to a whole bunch of books about green living. They also have Greta Thunberg, a book about her on there. So if you're sitting there going, I'm a teenager, like what can I do to help the environment? She's a role model for us of all ages about, how we can help take care of our planet. So yeah, if you have questions, just leave us a comment. And what else? Oh, so yeah, next Monday, Abby is going to be doing Must Read Monday, and she's going to be talking about Angie Thomas's On the Come Up, so check it out. It's going to be amazing, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Bye!